The day my CEO boss, George Cole, finally got a girlfriend, I was somehow cast as the villain in their love story. His new flame, a girl in a little white dress with a matching flower tucked in her hair, dropped to her knees before me, sobbing. "You must be Mr. Cole's secretary," she sobbed. "Please, I'm begging you, give him back to me. We're the ones truly in love." I almost jumped out of my skin. Yes, I was George Cole's secretary. But I was also a certified genius, a national award winner, and the person responsible for the company's core technology. And most importantly, as heaven is my witness, there was absolutely nothing going on between George and me. The moment the girl, Lily Evans, hit the floor, every head in our open-plan office turned toward us. The silence was suffocating, thick with second-hand embarrassment. But Lily didn't seem to notice. She clung to the carpet and wailed, "Ma'am, George and I are soulmates. If you keep clinging to him, this won't end well for you." I froze, feeling like I'd just been struck by lightning. Soulmates? Clinging? Not ending well? Nowhere in my job description at Cole Corporation did it say I'd have to play the wicked rival in someone's cheap romance drama. George frowned, reaching down to help her up. "Lily, what on earth are you talking about? Sophia and I have a completely professional relationship." Lily threw herself into his arms, face streaked with beautifully tragic tears. "Don't lie to me, George. I know everything. I know Sophia is the heiress to the Reed fortune. She gave up her life as a socialite just to work by your side. If that's not love, then what is?" My jaw nearly hit the floor. What was she even talking about? Sure, the Reed family was the richest in the state, but what did that have to do with me? I was a small-town girl who'd clawed her way out of obscurity on scholarships and pure grit. My family tree was made up entirely of hard-working, blue-collar folks. The only reason I was standing in that high-rise office was because I'd studied myself half to death, graduated top of my state, and earned a scholarship from George's parents' foundation. Later, I fast-tracked my PhD and brought in a multi-million-dollar national research grant. Working for George, at a fraction of my market value, was my way of paying back their kindness. And somehow, this had turned into a fairy tale about a secret heiress disguised as a secretary for love. With that imagination, Lily was wasting her time. She should have been writing soap operas. George looked just as lost, trying to make sense of her story. "Lily, where are you getting this nonsense? Sophia is just..." Before he could finish, Lily covered her ears and shouted, "Stop. Don't say another word. Don't keep reminding me of the difference between us. It hurts too much." The audience around us had grown, their curiosity hanging heavy in the air. George's handsome face darkened in frustration. "Then what do I have to do to convince you there's nothing between us?" Only then did Lily lift her tear-streaked face, clutching his sleeve. "George, please, I'm not blaming you. I know I'm not good enough for you. I don't care about your money. I love you for who you are." At that, George looked utterly drained. He waved a hand at me. "Sophia, you can go back to your desk." Grateful for the dismissal, I quickly put on my professional smile. "Of course, Mr. Cole." I turned and walked away briskly. I'd taken only 2 steps when Lily's trembling voice called out again. "She called you Mr. Cole," she cried. "George, she's doing it on purpose, to remind me that you're the powerful CEO and I'm just some Cinderella from the slums. Will you get tired of me one day? Will you leave me?" I heard George sigh heavily. Then, once again, "Sophia." I turned back, resigned. "Yes." He rubbed his temples. "From now on, in front of Lily, call me by my first name." I blinked. "Are you serious?" Seeing my hesitation, he added flatly, "Every time you call me Mr. Cole, I'm docking your pay $200. My body responded faster than my brain. I straightened immediately, voice loud and clear. "Yes, good George. Understood." The moment I stepped out of George's office, a swarm of coworkers closed in, eyes gleaming with gossip. "Sophia, what on earth was that?" one of them whispered. Mark, head of the tech department, leaned over with a smug grin. Well, well. Didn't think you were a secret heiress, Miss Reed. Sacrificing your fortune for love, huh?" I smacked him square on the back. "Heiress, my foot. Get your team together. Meeting now. If we mess up the pitch in 2 weeks, your entire department's out on the street." Mark's grin vanished. His neck disappeared into his shoulders as he bolted to gather his staff. For the next 3 days, I had no idea what kind of deep emotional talk George and Lily had, but at least she stopped performing her "please leave my boyfriend" scenes in front of me. Unfortunately, that didn't mean peace. Lily began showing up at the office every day like an NPC stuck on repeat, spreading sunshine and chaos in equal measure. You can do it, Kelly. You're amazing. Keep it up, David. I believe in you. Don't forget to smile, Sam. Life is beautiful. And if that wasn't enough, she brought her fishbowl and placed it right on the reception desk. This is my baby Prudence, she said proudly. My phone is Grace, my alarm clock is Hope, and my potted plant is Faith. The entire office was on edge. Productivity didn't go up, but collective secondhand embarrassment skyrocketed. I was juggling technical reports, project deadlines, and now an avalanche of internal emails complaining about our new office mascot. Eventually, I printed every complaint, bound them into a thick stack, and slapped it onto George's desk. He flipped through a few pages, his expression shifting from disbelief to resignation. Finally, he sighed and rubbed his temples.
Fine.
Notify finance. Starting this month, everyone in the executive office and adjacent tech departments gets double pay. My frown instantly flipped into a dazzling smile. Thank you, boss. You're a genius, boss. Long live the boss. Before my flattery could even fade, the door burst open. Lily ran in, eyes red, clutching a flower pot. George, my faith is dead. I'm so sad. My grin froze. Without another word, I quietly backed out of the office, face blank. Genius, my ass. That raise was hazard pay, and we'd more than earned it. A few days later, George's parents returned from their world tour and decided to drop by the company. Fearing another of Lily's melodramas, George assigned me to give them the grand tour. Everything was going smoothly. I was in the middle of explaining our latest tech breakthrough when, out of nowhere, Lily appeared again. The moment she saw George standing beside his parents and me, her face went pale. Then, like a tragic heroine in a silent movie, she clutched her chest and collapsed. George, you lied to me, she whispered dramatically, pointing a trembling finger at me. Your parents already approve of Sophia, and you told me there was nothing between you. Mr. and Mrs. Cole stood frozen, utterly bewildered. But Lily wasn't done. She staggered upright, looking heartbreakingly fragile. The great Reed family and the Cole dynasty joining forces, it's perfect, isn't it? George, should I congratulate you on your upcoming wedding? That was it. If I didn't stop her, she'd have us married with 3 kids and a mortgage by lunchtime. I stepped forward, face completely neutral, pulled my driver's license from my purse, and practically shoved it under her nose. Miss Evans, take a good look. My name is Sophia Reed. My father is Daniel Reed. My mother is Laura Reed. We are not related to whatever billionaire Reed family you've made up in your head. I thought showing Lily my ID would finally end her fantasy. How naive I was. Her mind operated on a level of logic that defied mortal comprehension. She stared at my license, her expression shifting from shock to confusion, then to what can only be described as sudden enlightenment, a whirlwind of emotion on display. Then she spun to face George's parents, voice heavy with tragic injustice. We're both Cinderellas, so why is she acceptable and I'm not? The Cole's bewilderment was almost tangible. George looked like he was about to have an aneurysm. Lily, stop this nonsense. Let's go. But she wrenched free and charged forward. Mr. and Mrs. Cole, I know my background is humble and I'm not worthy of George, but my love is real. Why can you accept Sophia but not me? Is it because I'm not as pretty or as capable? Mrs. Cole, now clearly annoyed, frowned at her son. George, what is going on? Explain yourself. Lily immediately jumped in, playing the martyr. No. Mrs. Cole, it's not George's fault. It's all my doing. Why did you dislike me from the moment you saw me? Did Sophia say something bad about me? She turned to me again, tears streaming, looking utterly pitiful. Sophia, I know you love George too, but you can't force love. I opened my mouth, burning to unleash a scathing reply, but thankfully George physically dragged her away before she could pen another chapter of her fanfiction. I rubbed my temples and exhaled in relief, only to be met by 2 pairs of piercingly bright eyes. Mrs. Cole grasped my hand. Sophia, dear, is it true? Do you really love our George? Mr. Cole stood beside her, stroking his chin. Well, we've watched Sophia grow. She's remarkable, it's not impossible. My world went dark. My reputation, my image as a dedicated, no-nonsense professional, completely destroyed by Lily Evans. It took all my persuasion to convince George's parents that Lily was delusional, Not that I harbored a secret crush on their son. They left, visibly disappointed, but convinced. For the next few days, I buried myself in the tech department, working overtime just to avoid George. Surprisingly, Lily kept her distance for a little while. The day before the project pitch, we had a long-scheduled industry gala. Naturally, Lily was there, trailing timidly behind George in her signature white dress. The event was filled with industry heavyweights, many of whom immediately cornered me. "Ms. Reed, I hear things have been chaotic at Cole Corporation. Interested in joining Sterling Industries?" "Sophia, our tech division is stuck. Could you consult? Name your price." Ever since I'd brought my nationally funded project to Cole Corp, executives had been trying to poach me relentlessly. They hadn't given up. I was about to politely decline when the event manager rushed over, panic written all over her face. The pianist couldn't make it due to a last-minute emergency. The room was awkwardly silent. Having attended countless high-end events with George, I knew enough to fill the gap. "If you don't mind, I could." Before I could finish, Lily lunged forward, indignation blazing across her face. "I can't play." Every eye in the room turned to her. "Miss Evans," I said, confused. "I was offering to play, not you." Her face flushed crimson, as if a righteous fire had been ignited. "Do you rich people have any idea what it's like for people like me? I grew up in the middle of nowhere. I've never even seen a grand piano, let alone learn to play. You're all here at this extravagant party, listening to piano music, while people out there can't even afford to eat." Her fury turned toward me, eyes blazing with judgment. "Sophia, you came from nothing too, and now you're helping these vultures. You've forgotten where you came from. I, Lily Evans, look down on you." Silence. A heavy, absurd hush fell over the ballroom. Everyone stared at Lily as if she had descended from another planet. I felt as if lightning had struck me, my skin gone numb, my soul briefly absent. Helping vultures? Forgetting where I came from? All because I could play the piano? Lily clutched the hem of her dress, cast one last disappointed look around the room, then covered her face and fled. George did not follow. Or rather, he could not. He was busy managing the damage, apologizing to the very guests Lily had just insulted. By the time the gala ended, George was too drunk to walk straight. Duty-bound, I got him settled in his usual 5-star suite. I had just received the room key when Lily appeared in the lobby, a pale, haunted figure. Her eyes were rimmed with red. Before I could speak, she stared at me as if she could see through every calculated move I had ever made. Her voice trembled with defiance. "Sophia Reed, I know what you're doing. You want everyone to misread our relationship, to make me fight with him. I won't fall for it. I trust George, he loves me." I closed my eyes, grateful for that one sliver of common sense. She drew herself up, fists clenched like a soldier preparing for battle. "But I also know why he can't get rid of you. It's that project you control, isn't it? Wait and see. I'll prove I can help him too. I'll show I'm more useful than you." She stormed off, righteous fury blazing in her wake. A cold knot formed in my stomach. The next day, we presented our bid. I led the pitch, delivering the core tech with the authority of someone who had built it from the ground up. The Q&A was brutal and brilliant, and for a moment winning the contract looked inevitable. Then the conference room doors burst open. "Wait, I have something to say." Lily, breathless, fanned a stack of documents and shoved them at the judges, the client representatives, and our rivals. Someone handed one to me. My blood froze. It was our core architecture, our algorithms, every confidential parameter, and the exact figure of our sealed bid. Lily climbed to the podium, voice unnervingly clear. Lily stood panting in the doorway, clutching a stack of papers. Ignoring the staff trying to stop her, she shouted, "Quick, hand these to everyone." Documents were shoved into the hands of the judges, the client reps, and our rivals. One landed in my hands. My blood went ice. It was our core architecture, the algorithm parameters, and our sealed bid price. Lily climbed the podium, voice unnervingly clear. "Here are all their cards, laid out for you. See the sincerity of Cole Corporation? You must partner with them." The room was stone silent. I stood frozen, feeling the air leave my lungs. This project was my PhD in practical form, 2 years of sleepless work by my team and me. She hadn't just wrecked a contract, she had incinerated thousands of hours of research, the heartbeat of our work. White-hot rage consumed me. Professional calm shattered. I stepped forward, and in front of everyone, I slapped Lily across the face, the sound cracking through the hush. She staggered, clutching her cheek, tears immediately springing. George. She hit me. I was only trying to help you, she wailed. George said nothing, his face carved with disbelief and sorrow. My chest heaved. I pointed at Lily, but looked only at George. George Cole, as head of this project, I am filing suit against Lily Evans for theft and deliberate disclosure of corporate trade secrets, I said, my voice steady though I was shaking. From this day forward, this company is not big enough for the both of us. Either she leaves or I do. When Lily heard my ultimatum, she froze for a second. Then, as if a switch had flipped, she erupted into a new, more dramatic round of sobbing. George, so it was true all along. I was the third wheel. For a moment, my rage burned out in the absurdity of her logic. I almost wanted to applaud her. Her talent for self-delusion was truly world-class. The conference room was deathly silent except for her hiccuping cries. The judges and our competitors wore priceless expressions, shock, barely concealed laughter, and, in one case, the unmistakable glow of a smartphone recording the spectacle. George's face had moved beyond pale. It was a mottled, catastrophic gray. I didn't wait for his response. Mr. Cole, you handle this mess, I said, voice cold and measured. As for the lawsuit and my resignation, we'll discuss it back at the office. I turned to my team, still reeling. Let's go. Back at the company, the tech department was shrouded in a funereal gloom. The news had spread fast. Core engineers who had worked with me for years had red eyes, not from crying, but from pure, unfiltered fury. Sophie, all those years, one of the younger programmers choked, unable to finish. I rested a hand on his shoulder, the weight of the day heavy in my own chest. Our work was desecrated. That's not our fault. Don't worry, I added. I'll make sure each of you gets the compensation you deserve. Just then, George returned, looking utterly defeated. Lily was nowhere in sight, likely hiding to cry in peace. He walked straight into my office, voice hoarse. Sophia, former secretary, I corrected him without looking up. I slid a freshly printed resignation across the desk. Sign it, Mr. Cole. Also, here's my lawyer's card. He'll coordinate with your legal department regarding a lawsuit against Miss Evans. George stared at the letter, hand trembling. Sophia, I know Lily went too far. But a lawsuit? She probably had no idea how critical those documents were. You know how her mind works. I let the words hang. He trailed off, then let out a bitter, humorless laugh, rubbing his temples as if trying to prevent his head from exploding. Slowly, he picked up the pen and signed the letter. Tell me, Sophia, he said quietly, would you call this being blinded by love? I picked up the signed resignation, my ticket to freedom, and gave him a cool glance. Mr. Cole, I won't comment on your personal life. But from a business perspective, I paused, letting the weight of my words settle. Out of respect for your parents, I'll consider handling some of the company's tech maintenance contracts on a case-by-case basis. Of course, my rates are high, but I guarantee you'll get what you pay for. George looked like he had just swallowed a bug. As I reached the door, I added one last note. By the way, Mr. Cole, the next time I'm here, I expect a professional environment. No distractions. Especially not from the ever-so-helpful Miss Evans. Walking out of Cole Corporation, the sunlight hit sharp and cleansing. The suffocating weight in my chest finally began to lift. On my first day of unemployment, I slept until noon. No dawn wake-up calls to prep George's briefs. No ambushes from Lily. No sifting through emails about dead plants or office morale. Pure bliss. I made a leisurely pour-over coffee, took a sip, and my phone exploded. 99 plus unread messages. A dozen missed calls. All from headhunters and executives I'd met at the gala. Mr. Sterling from Sterling Industries went straight for the pitch. Sophia finally escaped that madhouse. VP of Technology is yours. Double your old salary, company car, penthouse, build your own team. And yes, our office has good feng shui. No Cinderellas with screws loose. Mr. Davison from Apex Electronics was just as eager. Sophie, I heard about the Cole Corp disaster. You didn't deserve that. Come work with me, chief scientist. No fixed hours, name your salary. Just pop in occasionally to guide our less-than-brilliant teams. Thanks to some live stream of the gala meltdown, even media companies were after me. Ms. Reed, have you considered building a personal brand? Tech goddess slays drama queen is gold for social media. You could be the icon of the independent woman. I laughed. No thanks, I had no plans to become an influencer. I switched the phone to silent, and bliss returned. After a peaceful breakfast, I methodically replied to the offers. Most I politely declined. For a few interesting ones, I proposed project-based collaborations. Now, a free agent, why chain myself to a desk again? Project-based consulting meant I earned more, worked less, and avoided drama. A perfect win-win. Of course, I didn't forget Cole Corp. That afternoon, I sent an email to George's assistant outlining a menu of technical support services, complete with a price list designed to make him wince. Less than 30 minutes later, my phone rang. George. Exhausted, but still trying for humor. Consultant read this price list. Is this based on some new, hyperinflated industry standard? You get what you pay for, Mr. Cole, I said cheerfully. If it's too expensive, maybe Miss Evans can power your servers with the sheer force of her love. 3-second pause. I could almost hear him wincing. Send me your bank details. We'll go with your rates, he said. Compared to the losses from that failed bid, it's a bargain. Once a man clears the fog of bad romance, his business sense roars back. When the wire transfer hit my phone, my mood soared. Meanwhile, back at Cole Corp, chaos reigned. When Lily discovered I had truly resigned and that George was moving forward with the lawsuit, she apparently had a full-blown meltdown, then launched her disastrous redemption tour. She stormed into the tech department to boost morale, nearly shutting down a critical server. She bought dozens of colorful potted plants, new faiths, and placed them everywhere, doubling the janitorial workload. She even tried to give marketing a new slogan, "Powered by Love, Illuminating Your World." The marketing head begged George to stop her. George's new full-time job, aside from repairing the leaked project damage and wiring me obscene amounts for consulting, was following Lily around the office, extinguishing every chaos fire she started. According to my inside sources, the once cool, aloof CEO now wore a permanent look of weary resignation, a man who had truly seen too much. Sophie, whispered my friend over the phone, sounding like a spy behind enemy lines. Do you think the stress finally broke him? Is his brain okay? I couldn't help it. I laughed out loud. My new life was thriving. I turned down all full-time offers and launched my own tech consulting firm, Nexus Innovations. Simple, modern, and perfectly on brand. On opening day, the hallway to my office was lined with flower arrangements from Mr. Sterling, Mr. Davison, and other industry heavyweights. It felt like a Fortune 500 launch. Mark, my former department head, and a few loyal engineers had quit Cole Corp and joined me without hesitation. Our first major contract? Ironically, the very project Cole Corp had lost. The new client's project lead shook my hand, a knowing glint in his eyes. Ms. Reed, your former boss might have a few screws loose, but we have complete faith in your technology. I texted a summary to George. Much later, his reply arrived, a single, eloquent line of periods. The project ran flawlessly, and the profits were intoxicating. Occasionally, I'd accept a contract from Cole Corp, but strictly business. Appointments, front desk sign-in, visitor pass, hourly billing. If I went even a minute over, George received the invoice before I'd left the building. The receptionist now regarded me like a savior. My presence guaranteed that the dreaded Miss Evans would be banished for at least half a day, granting the company a rare, peaceful window. George's demeanor toward me had shifted to complete professionalism. One day, while I patched a critical security vulnerability, he glanced over my shoulder and asked, almost out of nowhere, "Sophia, do you think it's too late for me to take some classes, learn some of this core tech stuff?" I didn't even look up. Mr. Cole, with all due respect, your business acumen and management skills are exceptional, despite your questionable personal judgment. Why compete with us grunts? Just stay in your corner office, be the boss, and pay people like me to solve your problems. Isn't that easier? He blinked, taken aback. Right. Leave it to the professionals. It's just professionals are getting professionally expensive. I'll take that as a compliment. Inflation is brutal, you know. I tapped the final keystroke. There. Vulnerability patched. Total service time, 3 hours and 52 minutes. Billed as 4 hours. Invoice will be sent shortly. For a basic bug like this, I'd suggest hiring a full-time security engineer next time. More cost-effective than calling you. George's mouth twitched. A full-time engineer wouldn't be as efficient as you. Fine. I sighed mockingly. How about a friends and family discount? I offered him a thin smile. Mr. Cole, We maintain a cordial ex-employer-employee relationship and a thriving client-vendor partnership. Let's not complicate things with friendship. It's better for both of us if we just talk money. He looked like he wanted to argue, but couldn't find the words. Life settled into a new rhythm. Nexus Innovations thriving, while Cole Corp struggled under Lily's ongoing chaos. Finally, the court date for the lawsuit arrived. The trial was, without exaggeration, the most surreal experience of my life. Lily insisted on representing herself. The moment the judge declared court in session, she jumped to her feet, tears streaming before she had even spoken. "Your Honor, members of the jury." Her voice trembled with the tragic grief of a woman fundamentally misunderstood by the world. "I admit I sent out those files. But it wasn't theft. And it wasn't a leak. It was a rescue mission. I was saving George and the Cole Corporation from a toxic influence. I was exposing the dark underbelly of office politics and breaking the chains of capitalism strangling true love." My lawyer stared at me. I stared at the judge. The judge looked like a person trying not to spontaneously combust. "Ms. Evans," the judge said slowly, "please confine your statements to the facts of the case." Lily's eyes sparked with righteous energy. "These are the facts. Sophia Reed used her position to psychologically manipulate George for years. She held him hostage with that project. I released the data to expose her for who she truly is, to set George free. It was an act of justice. I did it for love." She even brandished screenshots from her phone, an article titled 108 Seduction Techniques for the Ambitious Secretary. "Your Honor, look. Evidence." She used every trick in the book. The judge's expression was a masterclass in strained neutrality. My lawyer trembled, fighting laughter. I remained perfectly still, savoring every ridiculous second. In the end, while the court struggled to prove malicious intent, because, honestly, Lily genuinely believed she was the hero, the crime of trade secret infringement was undeniable. The verdict: guilty. Given her apparent cognitive state and the massive financial damage, she received a 1-year prison sentence, suspended for 2 years, and was ordered to pay substantial compensation to Cole Corporation. Lily stared in disbelief. How could this happen? I was just fighting for my love, none of you understand. After the trial, George approached the stunned Lily. "I'll pay the compensation for you," he said quietly. "On one condition: leave the city, start fresh, and stop getting lost in your own head." Her eyes welled with tears. "George, are you abandoning me too?" "But I still believe true love conquers all." He simply rubbed his temples and walked away. Some people, it seemed, were beyond saving. With Lily, the company's single greatest liability, out of the picture, Cole Corp slowly stabilized. The damage was severe, but the foundation held. George threw himself into work, becoming a soulless automaton of efficiency. Rumor had it he developed a severe case of white dress PTSD, maintaining a 10-foot distance from any woman wearing white. Months later, I ran into him at an industry summit. He approached, raising his glass. "How have you been?" I smiled. "Couldn't be better, thanks to you. Business is booming. My hands are sore from signing contracts." "And you're looking well, Mr. Cole," I added. "There's a clarity in your eyes I haven't seen in a while." He laughed dryly. "It came at a steep price. Listen, about all that insanity, I never properly apologized. Thank you for helping pull Cole Corp out of the fire." "I'll always be grateful to your parents," I said honestly. "But business is business. You're one of my VIP clients now. Keeping the client happy is good policy." He chuckled. "An honor. A very, very expensive honor." We clinked glasses, sharing a smile. All past chaos and drama melted away, transformed into a wild story to tell someday. I later heard Lily's relatives whisked her back to her hometown. She ended up in a small-town coffee shop, dog-eared romance novel in hand, enthusiastically recounting her legendary corporate love battles to fascinated baristas. As for me, Nexus Innovations became a powerhouse. Clients spread overseas. Mr. and Mrs. Cole still called occasionally. No mention of George, just genuine congratulations. Once, Mrs. Cole whispered conspiratorially, "That boy of mine, George? He works nonstop just to afford your consulting fees." I think the whole ordeal left a permanent mark. I laughed, leaning back in my chair. Sunlight streamed through my floor-to-ceiling windows. A new multi-million-dollar contract flashed on my screen. I sipped my coffee, smiling. I hadn't just shredded the villainous script they'd handed me. I'd rewritten it into my own epic, a blockbuster where the heroine builds an empire and lives life on her own terms. And it felt pretty damn good.